A very good morning to all my student friends, faculty members and professors from various institutions who have joined this webinar. This is Kannan Narasimhan, Director Industry Relations, Sri Ishwar College of Engineering, Coimbatore. So we are an autonomous institution located in Coimbatore, and now the order of the day is going through online classes and webinars. So with this being the situation, we thought that we would make some useful contribution to the engineering students community. So with this, we came up with an idea of conducting a series of webinars engaging senior experts from the industry. So we are commencing it today, and till 24th we have scheduled various topics and which are relevant to the engineering students, and the guest speakers are going to be from big companies with over 20 years of experience, and we would request the student community to attend these webinars and get benefited. So for the convenience of the students, what we have done is we have kept the webinar timing as a standard time, 11 to 12 every day. Students can sit before the computer and use the link to log into the webinar at 11 every day. So we didn't want to go for different timings, which might be confusing also. So all through these webinars, 13 webinars we will be publishing. It is going to be between 11 and 12. In fact, people from the USA are also going to be guest speakers. It is midnight for them, but nonetheless they said that they will be happy to interact with the student community. And this is going to be very, very useful for the students because the speakers come with very rich experience and expertise. So at the end of the session, you are also going to be provided with a e-certificate, and you will be directed to a feedback form. Upon filling up the feedback form within a minute, you will get the e-certificate into your mailbox. So with this small note, I will hand over the session to Dr. S.R. Sivarasu to inaugurate the session by introducing our speaker of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to all. It is a great honor for me to introduce my energy guru, Sri Ashok Seduraman sir. Ashok Seduraman sir completed his BSc BTech in Instrumentation Engineering from MIT Chennai in the year of 1979. After completing his graduation, he entered into the field of energy auditing, energy conservation, and energy management. He was professionally trained in Parks Pro Systems USA and Ruston Gas Turbines USA. Ashok Seduraman sir is a BEE empaneled accredited energy auditor, conducted more than 400 energy audits in various industry segments in India and abroad. He offers implementable energy conservation measures to various industries, which are instrumental in a huge amount of energy saving. Ashok Seduraman sir is running a own website, namely www.energymeasuretosave.com, through which he is offering practical tips and solutions on energy savings in industrial utilities like lighting, compressor, motors, pumps, electrical systems, DG, cooling towers, furnace, commercial and green building sectors. He is regularly invited to conduct technical lectures in various industrial associations like SIPCOT, SIMA, SAIMA, DIC, Textile Cluster, Foundry Association, PCRA, and in many engineering colleges. He has published many articles and case studies in various leading national level energy journals. Ashok Seduraman sir is a National Vice President of Indian Association of Energy Management Professionals, IAEMP, a professional engineering society exclusively meant for energy professionals. He is associating with Sri Ishwar College of Engineering as a mentor to assist the energy consultancy activities through Sri Ishwar Energy Division. Under his great guidance, we have completed more than 50 energy audits in a short span of time. I kindly request all the participants to utilize this opportunity to listen his webinar and get benefit out of it. Presenting before you, Sri Ashok Seduraman sir. Thank you.
Good morning to one and all. Thanks for giving this opportunity to Sri Ishwar College of Engineering and to all the students and all the fraternity faculty members. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Basically, I'm just going to straight away to the slide. Basically, the energy audit, energy conservation, energy management, and career opportunities. We stand an excellent chance now, this post-COVID period, and these students have an excellent opportunity towards the energy management, energy conservation, and energy auditing. And in all the spheres of activities, in all the segments of industry, not only it is on the core engineering, it is on the building sector, and it is on all the aspects where the energy is consumed more, and there is a scope for ample scope for improving the energy management side towards the industry, and they can very well shine in the industry. This one. Basically, why the students? Thank you, dear budding young engineers, both on the electrical side, mechanical side, and on the civil side, all the branches of engineers. The idea is, why should we go for this energy efficiency, especially for the industry and especially for the country? See, we are going to serve for the country and we are going to serve for the industry. Automatically, you have an ample scope, you have an excellent scope. The thing is, why the energy managers are required in the industry is because it needs to reduce the energy bills, increase the competitiveness by the industry, then the productivity automatically increases, then the quality is more, the industries are more getting quality conscious, that when you are going selling the products abroad and you are exporting lot of products, quality is more important, and the increased operating profit margins, this is more important now. This is for the industry, you are going to serve to the industry. Next, when it is served to the industry, automatically to the nation, automatically the energy imports are reduced, because already we are spending towards the crude oil more than 1.5 lakh crores of this one rupees, and the 80% whatever we are gaining out of the export revenue, almost this 80% our energy imports only is going through the crude oil. So this can be avoided by doing the energy conservation. Then this energy conservation automatically improves the energy security of the country. And then comes the globe. See, whatever we do on the energy conservation side in the industry or in the buildings or in the office environment, automatically the environment improves, the localized improvement as well as the globalized environment improves, and the sustainability is the main target now. And every MNCs and every industry and all the throughout the world and throughout in India, all the big countries, big companies as well as the small companies, they are looking into this only as such now. So the main idea why an electrical engineer or a mechanical engineer, once you are coming out of the college, you become a maintenance engineer for the given industry, you can definitely, you are getting elevated to the status of energy manager. This energy manager, because previously the industry was all thinking, let us have the maintenance engineers, let them do their core engineering job, either mechanical maintenance or electrical maintenance, or if it is a civil, if it is a building maintenance or building renovations or building construction of buildings, all the other things. But Bureau of Energy Efficiency has said only one thing: let us make the core engineers to energy managers, where they are not only consuming the energy, they will be also conserving the energy. Once you become the energy manager as a part of designated consumer in the industry, definitely we have the demand is there for all the energy managers throughout the industries, throughout all the segments now. So for a given company, once you are entering the company, the energy conservation plans not only is dealt with energy audit, energy conservation only, market competitiveness, that is more important now. And it is definitely supported by the government, because the energy conservation is at the bottom of the pyramid. Of the energy pyramid, if you take, energy conservation is at the bottom of the pyramid, then comes the energy efficiency, and then comes the renewables. So every industry is looking into it as energy. When you are going into entering the industry, apart from your core engineering discipline, they want to know whether you are energy conscious, whether your awareness towards energy is there for you, and what is the energy scenario. All these things are important once you are entering the industry. In fact, many of the interviews it is conducted by the MNCs, everyone is looking, apart from the core engineering, they want the energy management to be learned by the young students like you. The opportunities, especially on the energy certified, BE certified energy managers, it is not only limited to any small sectors, it is open to all the sectors. These are all the designated sectors mentioned by the Government of India by the Gazette, where we have an ample scope in thermal power stations, aluminium, cement, fertilizer, iron and steel, pulp and paper, textiles, chlor-alkali, railways, distribution companies, refineries, commercial buildings. Especially the iron, aluminium and textile, especially the spinning mills, they use 100% electricity. So they have more of aluminum spulters, they have more of the energy, MTOE calls it. We call it as MTOE, the million tons of oil equivalent that has to be maintained, and it has to be within the above the threshold, means they need to have the designated energy manager for the given industry. So automatically, many of the industries, they don't have the energy managers. Once you are out of the college and you just work for 2 years in any of the core engineering companies, and parallelly you go for the studies of energy management, you have an excellent escalation in your salary, and then in your improvement in your career, and then you can definitely come up in a big way. So presently, the energy conservation and the consumption, every organization is looking into it. They don't want to see the consumption, they want to see the conservation aspects. So this is where we directly fit into the slot like bullseye. We work to improve the environment, we improve the work culture, and we reduce the energy consumption, and we work in tandem with the production managers. The global energy crisis, as on date, it has augmented the demand for the skilled manpower, especially on the energy management. We can take the case of energy monitoring throughout the world. Almost $40 billion per year is the scope for the energy monitoring throughout the world now. Furthermore, our government is also aiming to expand the energy sector, especially on the T&D, this one, transmission and distribution segment, and all the energy management aspects, especially on the energy generation companies, distribution companies, and on the usage companies. So the scope is very much wide and broad, and wherever the core engineering company you are going to join, try to emphasize, try to add more colors to your CV by having this energy awareness, conservation, and management. Automatically, this will pay for a better improvement on your side as such. Our government, the National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency, this is where first the solar mission is already on, and it is getting further and further. Starting with solar thermal, then it is going for solar PV, and it is going further and further. In fact, our Ishwar College is having an excellent solar PV also as such. And this National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency, this is where PAT cycles, EESL, and all the big sectors, their government is very much concentrating and contemplating to improve the energy sustainability for the country as such. Then only comes the sustainable habitat, then the water mission, all the other aspects that is coming one by one as such now. If you see the market-based approaches, especially to unlock the energy efficiency opportunities, this is on 2014-15, and it is extended for 5 years now. Up to 2019, 74,000 crores has been marked for this. And mind you, budding engineers, you have an excellent scope, especially in this area, not only on the national companies like MNCs or Navaratnas, on all the MNCs who are all coming from abroad to invest in India. They want to see to it that the energy conservation is the priority in their company. They want to become a platinum rated company or a gold rated company, especially to achieve the best possible levels of energy conservation, minimize the energy conservation on electricity, water, LPG, diesel, and all these forms of energy. So we will be a part of the 75,000 crores, and this is getting escalated now because the energy consumption is going up, and you have an ample scope now as is. I always say I am the junior of our past president, beloved president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir. He always used to say the best way and the shortcut way to address the energy efficiency for the government, for our India, is to reduce the T&D losses. To the cost of generation for a 1 megawatt of power means it is almost 5 crores or 6 crores on the windmill or solar, or it is many crores. But if it is done on the energy conservation side, especially to reduce the cup to lip losses, we say always, what is received by the industry at the gate, what is used by the machines. If there is a loss, if this is addressed to, automatically you need only 1 crore to generate that 1 megawatt, especially in the energy conservation side. So let us follow what our Dr. APJ has said. This is applicable to all the industries. He used to say, almost we had a T&D loss of 40% in the year of 2005. Now it has almost come to 20%, and it is going further and further to 15% now. The T&D losses, once it is reduced, automatically the the discounts is going to prosper, and definitely the industries are going to get a better price or a lesser price for the electricity they are paying now. You know, let us always analyze India versus the world. The TNT loss in Germany is around 7%. The TNT loss in China is around 7%. Germany is around 6%. And in many of the Western countries, it's in single digits now. But in India, as I was telling before, it's almost 40% on 2005. It has come to almost 20% on 2019. And it is by 2020, we are planning for 15%, and we wanted to reduce further and further. You mean to say almost when we are having to have almost 80% the demand generation is needed, electricity demand is there for the next 10 years, this needs to be definitely be reduced. And this is where the smart metering is already been trial basis is done in millions of smart meters are already applied in many of the states in India. And you find that 1.5 lakh crores of rupees, the revenue of the utilities can be improved by smart metering, by which you can say all the the two-way communication, then this net metering, then the cyber security, always the prepaid meters, then this time of delay tariff meters. All these aspects you could have seen, we had all some 10 years, 20 years back, some all electromechanical meters, and it was not able to even sense this 15 watts our night bulb. But all this trivector electronic static meters, they are able to sense even some few watts, less than 5 watts also it can sense. It generated revenue for the DISCOM, and almost it is a amount of almost 1.4 lakh crores. Government is thinking by going for almost 25 crores of these smart meters, and we will be the part of this smart metering also, especially to address the T&D loss and especially to raise the revenues of the DISCOM sector as such. If it is on the DISCOM sector, definitely you will be also into this cloud-based energy management information systems, where the scope for energy management is done on cloud-based this system. We go for wireless application protocols, we go for RS485, 232, this one Modbus, and even the Google has gone for this cloud-based computing. So the energy management, as far as the industry is concerned, even the ISO 50001 industries, they have gone for wired systems, and this one. Now everything is IoT has changed. A lot of improvements has done on this NMAS also, and this cloud-based energy management systems will definitely, it is easy to integrate with the existing system, and it is easy to operate, and you can project to the management. The management parts, whatever the energy consumption is there, whatever is its consumption and what it is conserved, these things to be put on cloud, and you just give it to the management. These are all the return on investment you can get on the existing system. This is what the management is looking for, and you fit right into this slot where you have a good scope to say what is the energy consumed, where are the scope for energy conservation possible within the industry as such. Career opportunities. The career opportunities right now, from as I was telling, from all the Navaratnas, for all the PSUs, leave alone the core engineers. If you are certifying yourself as energy managers, definitely this scope for the increasing your salary hike as well as your placement will be much more faster and better if you are tied up your existing core engineering with energy management. You can know what is energy efficiency, what is energy conservation. The market is already there, and the net is giving all the inputs on this energy conservation and energy efficiency. And many of the colleges students who have passed on these two couple of years, we could see if they are well averse in this, they are able to converse well about the energy conservation, energy awareness to the industry recruiters. They are very much impressed. They want the students to have the energy conservation knowledge, the basic knowledge, especially on your house or especially in the college, and especially on the industry visits where all you do. There, if you are trying to improve upon it, they are more interested to know what all you have learned extra apart from your core engineering. This is where we stand the chances. I'm just going to the case studies where the energy audit, conservation and management, it plays a vital role, not only for the industries, for all the buildings, green buildings, IGBC buildings, any of the buildings where you can see it is a IIT Kharagpur where the BE has done, Bureau of Energy Efficiency has done, the base building was consuming almost 240 units per square meter. EPI is the energy performance indicator for a given building. This will show whether the building is energy efficient or not. After doing the energy conservation in all the areas like envelope optimization, lighting optimization, HVAC optimization, this is a big area. HVAC and R. Many people forget this R, but R is more important. Refrigeration is also more important because India needs more of cold storages throughout the country, because one end all the farmers, agriculture people, they are all producing so much of fruits and vegetables, and if it is having a cold premises, cold storage facilities in each and every villages and towns, definitely the sustainability of the agrarian culture of the India, definitely it will improve in a very big way. Say, coming to the building case study, from 240 units per square meter, it is able to brought down to, we are able to bring it down to 100 units. Almost 40% the reduction is possible thanks to the energy conservation measures taken by the building or taken by the IIT towards the ECBC compliance. Energy Conservation Building Code. There is a code and this is compliant with that as such. So the envelope optimization, we are able to achieve almost 15% from 240 to 200 units. From lighting optimization, then this HVAC optimization. This is where the scope is excellent now in India now. And then comes the controls. See, what all you see here is what is how the energy is generated, how the energy is distributed, and how the energy is used. In the usage part, you can definitely save a lot by embedded condition monitoring practices. These are all the areas embedded systems play in a big way, and condition monitoring can be done in an excellent way as such. So the annualized energy losses for a given building that can be definitely be reduced by sustainable energy conservation throughout the year, and it is keep on year to year this reduction can be seen as such. So these are all the areas as far as the building sector is concerned. Electrical, mechanical or civil engineers, any of the core engineers can fit into this slot to address to the building design. What is in what all the areas you can bring the sunlight and ventilation inside the building. This is a more critical area. We talk of Vastu in our ancient mythologies, but the same thing is applied as far as the building design is concerned, bringing in the sunlight and the ventilation. Then the high performance walls and roofs. See, you go for fly ash bricks, then all this underdeck insulation, then this overdeck insulation on the envelope side, then the glass, we go for this double glazed tiles and triple glazed units, especially to insulate the outer ambient surroundings to inside the buildings. Then appliances, BE has already given the star ratings. Whichever appliance is having a higher star rating, like 4-star rating or 5-star rating, go for those appliances, especially in air conditioners, refrigerators, geysers and other things. And on the lighting side, already from T5 we have gone to LED, and LED is going to stay here for more days. Even this including organic LED is coming up, but the lumens per watt is able to sustain in a LED. We are going to see it in later slides as such. So the energy metering, sub-metering and all these things, energy monitoring is the only way to target the energy reduction. So the government says, let us go by the 4 factors: energy, efficiency, equity and environment. This is what the National Action for Climate Change, it is started almost some 10 years back. These are all getting implemented now, and it is not in the nation stage. It is already taken up. It is the stage, ripe stage, where we can enter into this national mission for enhanced energy efficiency. And this 4 E's is going to play a big role throughout the sustainability of India in another, say, 50 years or 100 years or how many years more. But the sustainability, what all we have received from the past generations, we have to carry out to the next generations. On whatever the sustainability is possible, we are going to achieve not only on the energy, but all the process inputs as well as such. Take the building sector, buildings consume almost 30 to 35% of the electricity consumption in India. I am just concentrating on the electricity, but it is not only the electricity, all the other aspects also, other types of energy also. But electricity means for 1 unit of electricity, we are spending almost 1 kg of coal. The thermal stations are running at only 30 to 35% efficiency, and 1 kg of coal is producing only 1 unit of electricity, and it consumes almost before it was consuming 6 liters of water to produce 1 unit of electricity. Now the norms has come, they have to use only 2.5 to 3 liters of water only to produce 1 unit of electricity. So these are all the virtual embedded energy that is there in all the segments of the industry. So if it is a building segment, 30 to 35% on the electricity consumption, and that too commercial buildings, they are the largest energy guzzlers now. By 2030, we can see the buildings, 2/3 of buildings are going to get built, and 1 million square meter of new commercial buildings are getting added. So this is where a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer, all the core engineering people, they have a good scope to adjust to the energy conservation in the starting stage, in the design stage itself. As such, coming to the building, what are all the energy breakup? If we see, almost 60% goes towards the HVAC. That is why we say heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and controls. Apart from that, the refrigeration. This takes 60%. This is the area where all the IGBC or all the ASHRAE, everyone is concentrating, especially in the COVID period. You need to have a fresh air in the building, and you need to have a excellent air conditioning to be maintained at a higher temperature, not at 20 or 22 degrees. Almost it has gone to 27 degrees now. The government has already stipulated 24 degrees and above only you are supposed to keep your air conditioners now. So like that, if you see the breakup, the HVAC takes the major part, the lion's share. We can address that also as such. This is the area you can see why the HVAC is needed for a country like India, especially in our premises. Whether we need towards the air circulation, or we need towards the air cooling, or we need towards the air conditioning. If it is for air circulation, the ceiling fans, especially the BLD fans, CC fans are doing excellent job. That can give the, almost it takes only 10 watts per meter squared. If it is an air cooling, like coolers, it takes almost 40 watts. It is 4 times. But if it is an air conditioning, it is almost takes 20 times the power for conditioning the premises. So that is why, let us say, minimizing the air conditioning and increasing the air circulation inside the premises, this will definitely improve upon the premises air circulation. Positive cross ventilation is achieved in the premises as such. The norms also vary now. Leave alone the air conditioning, you definitely combine the ceiling fan, especially the BLDC fan. It gives a precise air conditioning or air circulation for the given area of the premises, and definitely this is able to improve almost 10 to 15% on the air conditioning cost for a given premises. If it is a split AC or if it is on a package everywhere, ceiling fan will definitely, you can, if you put the ceiling fan on, you can definitely increase, instead of 22 degrees setting on the air conditioning setting, you can increase it to almost 27 degrees, 28 degrees, and definitely you will see the human comfort. And this is what everyone is looking into it now, post-COVID period as such. Our body temperature is only 37 degrees. If it is very wise and prudent if you maintain it around 27 degrees, and definitely you can see the 15% power savings on the air conditioners. And leave alone the air conditioning, when you are putting the outdoor on the outer side, if you provide a weatherproof terrace, this one on the outdoor side, this also reduces the energy consumption by 10% as such. So the scope for air conditioning is very much more, thanks to the latest innovations. The part load efficiency for a given air conditioner, it was all 1 kilowatt per ton before, 1.5 kilowatt per ton before, almost some 5 years back. But thanks to the star ratings of BE and all these ASHRAE and ASHRAE, they have all given the norms. Now it is almost around 0.5 to 0.75 kilowatt per ton only it is consuming now for a given air conditioner. So BLDC, brushless DC fan, this is another area. The World Bank has invested almost $300 million in India to promote these BLDC fans now. They are giving a subsidy to all the OEMs of BLDC OEMs. They say when a fan is consuming 60 watts or 80 watts, this is consuming only 30 watts, and especially in the mid portion, it consumes only 25%. So let us make use of the BLDC fans, and definitely we can bring down the total energy consumption for all the commercial buildings, including the colleges, including the hospitality sectors. Star ratings, Bureau of Energy gives lot of weightage to the star ratings because the domestic consumers have to change. Whatever the fridges we have used in our house, it was consuming 3 units per day. Now it is consuming, the latest fridge, 5-star rated fridge consumes only 1 unit per day. Almost 70% savings is possible on the refrigeration lines, refrigeration appliances. This is applied to fridges, this is applied to this one, this is applied to fans. We say the service value of the fan, if it is 50, for a 50 watts, if it is giving almost 200 meter cube per minute, it is be called as a service value of 4. A BLDC fan gives a service value of almost 5.5 to 6 also. So star rated fans, definitely it improves the circulation and also it gives the comfort to the user also, and at an optimized consumption of less than 50 watts, less than 40 watts now, at 30 watts to 28 watts now. The ASSOCHAM, they say almost 1.2 lakh crores of rupees the industry or the domestic, throughout the India, the energy consuming appliances, if it is replaced with this 5-star rated this one appliances, 1.2 lakh crores can be saved. 20,000 megawatts of power can be saved per year almost. This is to be implemented, horizontally deployed on all the domestic sector, commercial sector, and on all the industrial sectors as such. In the energy audit, what it is used? See, when you are entering the industry, you need to know what is the energy audit and what are all the energy conservation possibilities to be done in the industry. You find the energy audit instruments is, we have a power quality analyzer, power quality, the load managers, then this lighting, this one, the light, what you can see, the lux detectors, then the anima meters, then the clamp-on meters. This is costing less than 10,000 also. This is costing more than 1 lakh also. We can select, the industry can select to suit to that taste. And the infrared imagers. These are all the energy audit instruments to be used in even given industry, and the energy auditors also can use this. So the energy manager should be definitely be conversant with the monitoring aspects of the energy detection side as such. Thermal imager. See, not only we are going not only for the condition based monitoring, we are going for predictive monitoring also. While the thermal imager, it was costing almost 4 lakh rupees to toss with some 5 years back. Now it has come to less than 1 lakh, almost from 50,000 rupees to 1 lakh it is available. And each and every industry, you can see the ITF mills, Indian Textile Federation, they have almost many of the mills, more than 200 to 300 mills, they purchased it in a span of 2 years. This type of thermal imager, infrared based thermal imager, which is able to sense the what are all the temperature gradient which is happening in the motors, which is happening in the electrical circuits, which is happening in the process. Any temperature which is more than 20 degrees than the existing condition, existing piping or in the process, this is a loss to the system that can be addressed upon immediately. Next comes the, say, I'm just saying what are all the macroscope towards the Indian energy scenario, what is towards the energy conservation and audit towards the industry, what we are addressing to the energy management, and when you are entering the energy audit side, what is it done on the buildings and what is done on the pump side. If you see the pumps, especially if you take the case of Tamil Nadu, we have 20 lakhs of pump set on the toilet supply, and all having an efficiency of 20 to 30% only. Definitely the pumps efficiency has to improve, and definitely the pumping system efficiency also has to be improved. You can see almost it is at 31% only the existing efficiency of pumps, and this can be improved to 72% thanks to the VFDs and thanks to the improvement in the piping losses apart from the replacement of pumps. This is where it is a systematic improvement done on the system to improve on all the aspects of the system and correct the systems and improve from 30% to 70% now. If you see just a replacement of a 7.5 HP pump, 7.5 HP, it is replaced with a 5.5 this one 5 HP pump. You can see it is not only the pump it is getting replaced, the suction pipes, instead of a GI pipe, it is changed to rigid PVC pipes. Instead of a 65 and 50 mm size, we have gone for a 3-inch size. Why we are going for higher sizes of this pump suction and delivery? I will just tell you in the next slide. Piping plays a major role. Almost 30% loss is happening only in the pipings now. Then the footwall, this one. Say this is as addressed to the civil and mechanical engineers, where they have to know not only the electrical aspects of the pump, how much is the pump is the kilowatt or HP, but what is the deliverable of the pump, what is the flow, that is LPS, discharge liters per second, what is delivered on a 7.5 HP pump, and what is delivered on a 5 HP pump. At from 3.68 we are able to improve to 5.0 thanks to the pump replacement and all the system replacement like piping and the footwalls. Almost there is a savings of 50% in this. It is not only on the pumps. See, this is done by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, especially in the agriculture sector. Our CRI pumps only, they have done this from Coimbatore. Almost 3,500 pumps have been replaced at a cost of 7 crores. A pump costed only 20,000 rupees. If you see the return on investment, if you see on the return of investment, especially as a trader or an investor or as a from the home or from the office, you can see I am putting 1,000 rupees, I am getting 360 rupees at the end of the year. Almost 36% is the return on investment, especially on the energy conservation side. This is what we are concentrating now. Yeah, 20,000 rupees pump I have invested for the farmer. The BE has taken the steps to give it to the farmer, and he is able to get almost 7,200 rupees. We got through the energy savings. Almost 30 to 40% is the savings that is possible in the pumps. This is what we are concentrating not only in the pumps, in all the industries. So not only the pumps, it is on the water, especially the Gazette has already said since last year 2018, go for aerators on all your taps from 10 LPM, 10 liters per minute your tap is consuming, means fit an aerator, retrofit. This will consume only 3 liters, almost 70% reduction is possible. The Gazette is already passed. Many of the buildings, hospitality buildings, even in houses, even in commercial, this ones, they have started retrofitting these aerators that reduces the tap usage, the water, the leakage or the usage that has to be minimized, because water is the basic form of energy conservation to be thought not only for this decade, for thousands of years we have to think of water because it is available, very precious and very little to us now. So whatever is the purchasing cost, you are buying a vehicle motorbike for 50,000 means you are spending 2,000 rupees towards the petrol, but you are buying a 20 HP motor. Per month it is costing almost 50,000 rupees towards the electricity bill, and if it is an excellent motor, it consumes only 40,000. If it is a ordinary IE2 motor or a IE1 motor, it consumes only 60,000. If it is an IE3 motor or IE2 or IE3 motor, it consumes only 40,000. So this is where the life costing of a given motor, the cost of a motor is only 1%. The consumption we are paying for the motor, electricity consumption is almost 99%. So this is the area we are concentrating on, the running cost of the motor. Coming to the pumps, a 4-inch pipe is replaced with a 3-inch pipe was replaced with a 4-inch pipe. You find the 20% reduction. It increased the friction by 3 times. So the existing pipe was 3-inch. So we replaced with a 4-inch pipe. This reduced the friction loss by 20%. Same thing with the 3-inch dia pipe on the piping side. This is very much applicable to the civil side as well as for the mechanical engineers. You need to know the load of the system on the given motor. A 3-inch pipe of dia, if it is having bends, a sharp bend, it increases it is equal to increase in length of almost 3 meters. That is why PCRA is to sell. PCRA, Petroleum Conservation Research Association, and coming under the Ministry of Oil and Gas, they always give the tips on the energy saving. They say you can just reduce the friction loss in the piping by almost 70% by going for long bends. Whatever it is applied to the road traffic, it is applied to all the process piping also. Go for a slow in and fast out on all your bends, traffic bends. This is applied to process pipings. Well, the pipings, there is a loss of 30%. This can be reduced to 10% by improving the pipings and the bends and the long bend. If you go for this, that will definitely solve the piping losses. Going for a monoblock pumping to multi-monoblock side, or going for a monoblock pump to open well submersible pump, this improves the efficiency by 20%. This is what is seen as replacement in pumps by minimum 20 to 30% is seen as per the Terry case study as such. Coming to the blowers, these are all the aspects where all we are concentrating in the industry. Almost a blower is consuming almost 100 units, means 30% is only delivered. So if 30% is delivered, only 5 HP blower, only say you can say 3.7 kilowatt is given as the input, only 2.2 kilowatt is coming as the output. 40% is the loss. This is going as heat. These are all the areas the blowers can be concentrated as such. Bureau of Energy Efficiency says, what all the nameplate you see in the industry, study the nameplate. The nameplate gives lot of inputs. Blowers are all efficiency, having an efficiency of 60 to 80%. It's a peak load efficiency. You see, follow the blowers curves, the fan curves, that will show where you are going to operate and how you can operate the blowers. Definitely, we define the loads in the industry as constant torque loads, constant power loads, and constant variable torque loads. All the blowers, all the fans are all variable torque loads, and the pumps, centrifugal based pumps. You have a excellent scope in this variable torque loads. Reduction in RPM gives a savings of 10%, reduction in RPM gives a savings of 27%. Constant torque loads, it is used for all the flexibility of improvement on the machines. This constant power loads, especially on the metalworking loads, there the initial torque is more, and once on running, it goes down and then it increases, especially on the extruders or mixers as such. This is a typical case study done on blowers. Thousands of air handling units, they are all blowers. It is used in LECS, Coimbatore, where we have done this energy study, where we could find almost 50% savings for an air handling blower from a 5.5 kilowatt blower. Instead of operating at 1440 or 50 RPM, they are operated at 1215 RPM, and you could see the same RPM with a change of belts and pulleys and the VFDs. We are able to operate the same 1215 RPM at 45 Hertz, at 35 Hertz and 27 Hertz. At 35 Hertz, it gave a savings of almost 37%, and at 27 Hertz, it gave a savings of almost 49%. So, air handling units, especially used in a lot of industries, and the air washer plants, on all the air conditioning premises, on the HVACs, in all the building segments, this finds an excellent scope from 30 to 40% in all the blowers in the industry. So, Bureau of Energy Efficiency mantra, it says, almost 1 unit of electricity is consumed, 50,000 rupees is getting lost over the year, if it is 24/7 industry. So, measure the energy first to manage the energy. And wherever it is measured, it gets focused. The management is focusing on the area it is measured. Where it is getting focused, this can be improved upon. Where the energy or the electricity is improved, definitely it gets recognized and it can be horizontally deployed throughout the industry. And once it is recognized, it is shared by all, and you get highlighted. You are an energy manager, you have done this in your industry, it is being told throughout the industry and throughout the other segments of the industry, and you are propelled to the top. You are highlighted by the industry management, because energy conservation is the area which is getting limelighted by the energy management now. So, ultimately, the charity begins at home. Likewise, the conservation also. The conservation begins at home, begins at college, begins at industry. Wherever the safety fails, the conservation fails and the pollution starts. So let us start giving thrust on the energy conservation side. This will pave way for the energy management, and automatically you can do the energy audit in the premises wherever the industry you go in for the first 2 years, and automatically you study the energy audit booklets that is given freely by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and you can just do the preparation, and immediately you have a chance to become an energy manager. And once you become an energy manager, you can start climbing on the ladder to all the aspects of energy segment in the industry, because the energy segment is widening now, broadening now. The scope is excellent, and definitely you can make use of it. Thanks for giving this opportunity to all the to Sri Ishwar College of Engineering, and thanks for giving the passion hearing. I am very much open to your questions. I am ready to answer your questions as well. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It was a nice presentation. So many questions from participants. Maybe we can answer a few questions because we have a limited time.
Yes, sir.
Some of the questions are from how to become an energy auditor, how to become an energy manager. I just sum up all the questions with their names: Mr. Satish, Mr. Jayaseelan, Mr. Irfan. Even Mr. Irfan is asking 2-3 questions. But the first question belongs to how to become an energy manager and energy auditor. What are the basic qualification for this one, and who is conducting this examination and when?
I sincerely appreciate you, sir, because I always see you are the practicing guru in the energy audits and the energy conservation when we do from Sri Ishwar College. Coming to the students, let us first concentrate on energy conservation, energy awareness. As a student, you learn the aspects of this one. It is from the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, PCRE, and all the energy audits we do through our colleges. Learn this one at the moment. And once you are entering a core industry, just work for 2 years. And 2 years is the minimum eligibility, has been told by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, because they want the industry, the students to have an industry background to go for energy management as such. After within these 2 years, you can definitely, the books are very much lightly available on the net. You can download this and you can study the books wherever you find time, whenever you find time. You can make yourself ready, and it's a free for all exam. Any engineer with just a graduate engineer, if it is a diploma engineer, means he needs 6 years. If it is a graduate engineer, he needs only 2 years of work in the field, and he can take up this exam from National Productivity Council. Once he writes the exam, and it's a very much easy, and it is what you are seeing in the industry, it is going to be asked in the exam. If you become the energy manager for the given industry, to tell you personally, plainly, your salary, you will see a quantum jump in your salary, first aspect. Then one is, you are doing energy audit for your industry. Then you can horizontally deploy to the other industries. Once you qualify for the fourth paper and you become energy audit, then you can become an energy auditor and you can do for all the other industries. And once you are becoming an energy auditor, after doing some 5 sectors of designated consumers, then you can become the accredited energy auditor. You can aim for that also, another span of 5 to 10 years. So the stages is set now for the students community now, especially on the energy management, energy conservation, and energy analytics, as well as energy audit side. Definitely you can enter into this energy monitoring and energy auditing. This is a vital scope now, available now, right time to enter now. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request the participants, please go to the BE website, beindia.gov.in, and similarly npcindia.gov.in for regular updates of this examination. Thank you, sir. The next question is again from Mr. Irfan. He's an assistant professor. He is asking whether assistant professor with zero industry experience can apply for energy auditor and energy manager post of BE. If having teaching experience in power system and related experiences for 10 years, is it eligible to write the examination? He is asking.
Now they have slightly relaxed now, and they can definitely write the exam, and they can go for building energy audits. See, building is again almost 30 to 35% the energy guzzlers are the buildings and the commercial buildings especially, and the energy audits can be taken. If it is a core industry, you need a process expert or a subject matter expert to do as an energy audit team. You can definitely do energy audit if you can take up the exam and you can conduct the energy audit in the industries and especially in the buildings to start with. You can definitely do it as it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Again, Ms. Krishna Priya, how energy management can be done in our houses, industry, residential application.
I very much appreciate you, Krishna Priya. I very much appreciate this because charity or the energy conservation begins at home only. Once you start just seeing your electricity bill and what is your bill and how much this can be, what is the breakup of your electricity consumption in your house, just see to it and which are all the areas. You can definitely see, just first list down the energy consuming appliances and see which is consuming more, a lighting or a fan or a TV or a fridge is consuming more, or air conditioner is consuming more. Normally a house is consuming 10 units per day, means fridge is consuming almost 3 to 4 units. That is why people go for 5-star rated fridge and go for, if it is a 3 units per day, this will be replaced with a 5-star rated fridge. It will consume only 1 unit per day. All the lightings, they are changing to LED lightings now, and all the ceiling fans, if it is used for more than 10 years and 12 years or 20 years, this needs to be changed to this BLDC fans, which is consuming only 30 watts, 50%, less than 40% only it consumes. These are all the areas you can concentrate. First, monitor all your, list your appliances, list your consumption of the appliances. What you see when your tri-vector meter on your EB board, just see to it and switch on one by one appliance and you see what are all the readings it comes. List it down and you know which appliance is consuming more. AC, if you are having AC in your house, means it will consume straight away 10 units per day. Next, it is 20 units per day if it is a AC, if the house is having AC. If the house is not using AC, this is where we also say, try to avoid the usage of AC in your house normally. So this is how you do the monitoring and then target the energy reduction for the domestic side. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. One technical question from Bomma Ramanchinayalu. He's asking, a VFD can be attached to blower to reduce losses.
Sir, excellent question, sir. In fact, many people have not utilized the VFD for the blowers, And many industries or OEMs, they think we can utilize the VFD, direct coupling the VFD. Instead of that, we are suggesting, we have done the case study, take the VFD, have a belt and pulley driven system, and you can use the VFD's flexibilities to cheat the motor characteristics, and you can raise your the speed ratio. You can raise the from 1500 RPM, you can raise it to 1650 RPM by 10%, and definitely use the VFD to reduce the frequency by 5 Hertz, say 10%. 27% you can definitely see on your existing blower system for the same static Pascals and for the same CFM deliverable by the blower. So a VFD can be not used to be as a variable pulley purpose. It can be very much used with all the other flexibilities are there in the VFD. Use it as a closed loop VFD with a sensing of static Pascal for the given blower to deliver the Pascal for the given static Pascals. Thank you, sir.
Sir, more number of technical questions. One question from Nithyanandam Tangavelu is asking, usage of LED lights can affect eyesight.
I very much agree with you, sir. That was a thing of the past. The LED lights had the UV tinge before. Now the EESL, or we have come out with the latest LED, this one, the ratings as well as they say how much of UV has been removed. And normally the UV light, the LED light is not to be seen directly by the eyes. That is why the LED tube light, which is kept at a height, always the LED bulb, no need to focus the bulb. It is kept at a height only, and the UV light is inside. This one is, it is very much curved now. It is curtailed and it can be used now as it. Thank you.
One more question, sir, from Shanti. Normal household applications of solar panel capacity, how to select it?
Thank you, ma. Thank you.
Tell me.
Please, sir, tell me, sir.
How to select the solar panel for a normal household application? That's the question from Shanti.
Okay. Yeah, solar panel to be selected means you see what is, because now the incentives are cut. You cannot use it for the night application. You have to go for a battery application. If you are using it for the daytime, what is the maximum consumption in the daytime? You will see the consumptions, electricity consumption in the daytime, and accordingly plan for it. It is on case-to-case basis, and you have to go by the. We can discuss it offline. It is a lengthy discussion. You have to know what is the total consumption of the units and what is used in the daytime, especially in the solar time, and what can be used, especially the lighting for all your lightings. It can be used with the battery. So these are all the studies to be done, and we can go ahead as it. Thank you,
sir. Again, from question from Mr. Irfan, can a BLDC fan connected with a regular AC supply through SMPS?
In fact, the BLDC fan itself has done the brushless DC motor application, and it is already very much energy conserved only. On a solar application, if it is used, definitely the solar, it can have, it will take only less amount of kVA or less amount of voltamps and watts, especially if it is used on solar. Whenever you are in your house, we are going for solar application, the BLDC fans is a mandatory now, because this consumes less wattage and less VA also. So BLDC combined with solar and this one is definitely needed now as it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think one question from Mr. Vignesh Kumar is asking, can we able to learn energy audit by CSC background? I think he's from computer science student.
I very much agree with you, Mr. Vignesh Kumar. Definitely, if we are basically we are all engineers. What all we see the consumption of appliances, a CSC background engineer, you can do more on the IoT part of on the energy monitoring side. You can do your lot of workings. The research is very much needed on the IoT side. A CSC background, there is an ample scope for this embedded systems. The aircon servers that has come in the market now, it is reducing the existing air conditioning consumption by 20%. There are lot of embedded systems is only used. Lot of microprocessor based EEPROMs are used, and the CSC candidates have a very much. You are trying to brick and mortar energy monitoring system. You are trying to bring it to IoT system, and wireless application protocols and all these cloud-based energy management systems. The energy management and the Internet of Things is combined or polluted, and this is where the CSC candidates have a excellent standing in between, and you will be working proactively for the system. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Again, one question from Mr. Ranjan Walia. What are the opportunities in energy auditing field?
Sir, the opportunity is very much open because the designated sectors are widening now, and the MTOE that is fixed by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency under the Ministry of Power, that is also going to come down because the industries are consuming more, energy guzzlers are more. At the moment, the energy auditors need to be observed more by the industries, by the designated consumers, and the lot of industries, as per the PAT cycle, perform, achieved, and trade. See, where the energy efficiency for the given industry is made marketable by the government of India, there the energy auditors stand a chance for this. Once in 3 years, the energy audit has to be done mandatorily, and if it is also horizontally deployed to all the other industries, any of the ST consumer, it has to come to all the ST consumers throughout India. And if each and every ST consumer is supposed to do the energy audit mandatorily once in 3 years, all the energy auditors will have full-time demand, and we will not have time to even talk like this now as such. Thank you, sir.
Again, more number of questions are coming, sir. Anyway, the time is short. 2-3 questions we can take now.
Definitely, sir.
From Prasanna, is asking, will the energy audit process include post-testing that verify air leakage reduction and thermal improvements?
Energy auditing is a comprehensive approach towards the energy conservation, means energy leakage, energy abuse, energy usage, and energy distribution. As you said, the compressed air leakage, it is a leakage. See, a city like Coimbatore spends almost 3,000 crores or 3,600 crores addressed to the water leakage and improving the pipings, the distribution loss. So the distribution loss has to be addressed to, and the leakage has to be addressed to on the compressor side, and the thermal imager, what all you are used throughout the world, they are using only on the electrical side. But I have been using this thermal imager on the process side, where you can see the temperature gradient on all the process. The temperature gradient will say the process flow is turbulent or streamlined. This is the way you can analyze all your process and instrumentation systems and the process flow systems also. You have a very good scope on these aspects, I see. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Maybe we can have only one question at the end. How to become an ISO 50001 certified auditor?
Sir, this is an excellent platform. In fact, for our IAMP, our president, he was taking this ISO as supporting standards for these energy audits. Once the student community has crossed over this energy management, energy conservation, energy audit, then this we are taking up that. Then the energy auditor, it is a cakewalk for the energy auditor to go to the ISO 50001, and it is definitely mandatory. It is a practices. ISO 50000 is the energy management practices deployed by all the MNCs throughout the world, and it is coming up in a big way now. It is in the nascent stage. It is not in a, it is not saturated. It is just in the rising stage. Energy conservation and audit, first it takes first stage. The next stage is ISO 50001. People will definitely go for this, and all the MNCs are giving a serious thought about this ISO 50001. And it is a supporting standard where the industry has to maintain the practices as per the ENMS standards. It will make the industry to sustain for more decades as such, for their working as such. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I think we are coming to the end of our QA session. Most of the questions, again, they are asking how to become an energy auditor, how to become an energy manager, and all those things. For all the participants, again, I am telling, kindly visit Bureau of Energy Efficiency website and the National Productivity Council website. They will have all the details, examination pattern, when it is conducted, what is the qualification and everything. Now, I thank Ashok, sir. It is the time to hand over the session to our IT Director, Kannan Narasimhan, sir. Thank you, sir. Kannan, sir, your volume is not clear, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Mr. Ashok. In fact, we know him for many years, but even this is the first time I'm attending a session like this. Very, very enlightening and enriching. And of course, we could see from the participants there were questions coming up. Every question has been very, very patiently answered by Mr. Ashok. It's a wonderful session, and how the profile of maintenance managers are getting now reprofiled into energy managers. It's a very interesting input. And now if you look at the one major industry that is consuming enormous amount of energy is the IT industry, with so many lakhs of computers, AC environment, and there again the scope for energy auditing is very vast. And Professor has already articulated very well about the opportunities available. I only request the participants to take it forward. And with this, I would once again want to thank Mr. Ashok for a wonderful session. In fact, we could see in the chat box most of the participants giving a very kudos to Mr. Ashok. A wonderful session, wonderful session, wonderful session. I keep seeing this year. And tomorrow, I have a small announcement to make also. For all the participants, you please check your mailbox. You will get a link for a feedback form. Once you fill up the feedback form, we are asking for 2-3 questions only. Immediately, the e-certificate will come into your mailbox. So this is the arrangement. And tomorrow we are going to meet with one more wonderful webinar. It is on data science. What's engineering without data? So it is a program on data science for engineers, particular engineers. When I say engineering students and engineers, and this is going to be conducted by Mr. Ashok Anand Ramakrishnan from IBM. He is a data science professional. He is leading the practice over there. And I would request all the participants to attend that session also and get benefited. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.